Okay, number two. So we're doing three pieces, okay, three principles to not allowing our bodies and minds to become overwhelmed by racial trauma. First one is knowing your nervous system. Okay, so know what your nervous system is doing. Okay. And then the second point is don't get gaslit. Okay, don't get gaslit. So gaslighting is the art of enticing someone into a debate about your lived experience. Okay. So as Black people, we have been experiencing many things over the centuries. Okay. And what do white systems maybe say about our experiences? Right? They're not real. Right? They're not that important, not that bad. They are minimizing. There's a minimization of our pain and our trauma. Okay. So this looks like national media coverage, right? When the Buffalo Massacre was not covered, as much as, say, the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation, right? We sort of see that and we see the lack of coverage. And then we're so, I guess it maybe doesn't matter. Or we see police killings that are caught on tape, have long drawn out trials of, did he maybe do it? I don't know. It's on video. Like the fact that something is on murder is on video, right? In any given case, just take your pick with any police shooting. Murders will be on video, and then we're debating whether or not this was an actual murder. That is gaslighting. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And then maybe we start to take that on and think, well, was it? Maybe it wasn't that bad, or maybe it wasn't. And so now we are being forced to adopt this idea that Black trauma is not important or not painful. When people are gaslit for as long as we have been as African Americans, okay, we may start to unconsciously, this is not conscious, look to non-Black institutions and non-Black people for emotional validation of the Black experience. But ultimately, this will lead to invalidation. Why? Because we have separate inner experiences, okay, than white institutions. Okay, so don't get me wrong, when someone from a white institution like makes a statement on it or says something, right? It's not like we're looking at that like, oh, they don't mean that. They're meaning that as much as they can mean that, right? But for us, we need to own our own emotional experience. And we need to learn that my experiences are real, whether or not white institutions or white people feel the same things as me. Okay. So think about this from a generational trauma perspective, right? Our ancestors had to be lock in step, okay, with our oppressors, okay, in terms of what reality is. We had to agree with slave owners about what reality was. If we didn't agree, then we might be killed, beaten, right? We had to do and say and act in ways that they say were right and true. And this is still left over. Again, it's generational trauma. So you can't, 1619, you can't go from 1619 to now, have been in slavery for longer than you haven't been, right? We've been in slavery for a much longer time than we've been free, okay? You can't have that situation in that timeline and then not have unconscious things that we're doing unconsciously. And this is one of the biggest pieces that I really see. And this is otherwise known as internalized racism. I want to use the term gaslighting, though, because it's a bit easier to see and taste that. A lot of people are familiar with the term gaslighting. So this is a mental hold of white supremacy that prevents us from owning and feeling our own pain, our own trauma. So what we want to do, in addition to knowing our nervous systems well, okay, we want to remember that there are these leftover unconscious, sort of codependent dynamics from our generational trauma, being enslaved. Okay. This is unconscious. You're not consciously deciding, I love to get gaslit, or I love what white people say about my experiences. No, this was a survival mechanism from our ancestors. We had to be this way. And in many cases today, we still need to be this way. This is where code switching comes from, right? You have your reality, and then you have the Black reality, and then you have the code switched, how do I keep myself safe from harm reality? Okay. But when it comes to processing really strong emotions, right, when your nervous system is freaking out, because of the Buffalo massacre, when you're feeling that, when you're going through that, that is not the time to ask yourself, I wonder if this was racially motivated, I wonder what the national media is saying about this. No, this is a time to go within, feel what you are feeling, not take reference points about what you shouldn't be feeling X, Y, Z. Okay. This is about owning your experience. Okay. Because when human beings, okay, are abused physically, emotionally, we unconsciously begin to look to our abusers to validate our reality. Okay, maybe like passing bills in Congress unanimously that say lynching is bad, right? Still, that has not happened, right? Maybe we want to see more outrage from non-Black people and friends and coworkers, right? Maybe we want to see our employers being upset and giving us the week off because we are traumatized, right? So this is where the split is between Black experience and America, right? We won in a sense of emotional oneness. As African Americans, we have our own culture and our own identity and our own collective consciousness. You only have to go within to really tune into that. But the first step is learning to stop looking without. Stop looking without. Okay, America is hell-bent on ignoring the racial trauma that they have essentially perpetrated against Black Americans since they took us from Africa. We weren't even African Americans yet. We was African, So they're trying to avoid that. That's their avoidance. They don't want to face that, right? But here, this is just about you feeling safe inside your body and feeling what you feel and being able to heal. And all you need to do with that is, one, know your nervous system, know what it's doing, know how it's responding. Two, don't get gaslit. Okay, don't get gaslit out of your experience. Go within, tune in. The Black collective experience is separate, is different from the American experience. Okay.